Okay, thank you very much, Rico, and good afternoon, everyone. Lunch is approaching. We've got some exciting stuff to tell you from Graham and myself. I'm up first. Really to start off by saying I'm really pleased to be here today and tell you a wee bit about how OPITO is working with industry to ensure that initiatives, a creative approach and forward-looking actions being taken to develop learning and skills frameworks today will ensure that we have a safe and competent workforce needed, not just for tomorrow, but for many years to come. And today I'm also delighted to announce that you will be part of a world exclusive as we launch a new set of standards which have been created in response to and in collaboration with industry stakeholders. So I'd like to start this afternoon really by looking at the various factors influencing what we do and the challenges that we as an industry face. So firstly, I think we'd all agree here that we have an evolving workforce in terms of age, learning expectations, and transience. The desire for experienced workers and the need for transferable skills to a large extent move in parallel with activity levels in the industry. But what is changing is how developments in technology allow us to find better ways to manage our workforce needs. So echoing David and Simon their earlier comments, we have a duty to ensure that people can go to work safely and return home safely at the end of the day. Having fit-for-purpose technical standards is arguably the most significant factor in safety-critical sectors like our own, and hand in glove with the benefits of a multi-generation mobile workforce is the challenge around ensuring competency, which comes when you have multiple companies, multiple nationalities, and wide age and experience demographics in the mix. So currency, we think, is increasingly important for employers and individuals too. So what do I mean by this? Well, for employers, it's the need for platforms which open up a wealth of opportunities for businesses to improve performance and build a safe, suitably skilled workforce for the future. At the same time, we also need to provide currency for individuals, to provide the mechanism for building a bank of transferable skills and establishing clear pathways that allow people to move vertically up the career ladder, but also horizontally into other sectors and disciplines, just as we heard from the previous speaker from Petronas. These challenges aren't new. They won't come as a big surprise to you, and they're not unique to any one company or geographic area. What they are, however, is something that can be effectively addressed if we take a more dynamic and inclusive approach to solving them than has perhaps been the case to date. So how would we achieve that then? Well, in a modernizing world, the case for a common standards-based approach is more important than ever. There are many organizations out there working across multiple industries, providing multi-purpose standards. However, there is only one created by the oil and gas industry for the oil and gas industry. Maintained by us as the nominated custodian, OPITO safety training and competence standards provide clarity to employers around what is expected from them when operating across borders and in partnership with other organizations. They also provide clarity for employees in terms of what they can expect from their employers and also from those they're working alongside. The standards then are strategic tools which help companies navigate efficiently and safely. But more than a mechanism for avoiding problems, they provide value, opening up a wealth of opportunities to improve performance and build a safe, suitably skilled workforce for the future. In the case of technical standards, they also meet the need to provide currency for individual workers to demonstrate their competency and progress up the career ladder or boost their transferable skills. The standards then provide the foundation What we have to do is ensure that how we approach and deliver them remains relevant. And this has to be an inclusive process. You will hear from some excellent speakers this afternoon who will talk about how to create and embed effective safety cultures and the opportunities that digital learning and other disruptive technologies present with regards to making sure the way we train people remains relevant as the industry changes. The mechanism for ensuring all these different aspects, from creation to content to delivery, is effective in meeting the needs of employers is our network of industry forums. The platform we use to engage with industry, to identify technical learning needs, and share knowledge for the development and review of OPITO standards. The forums are an integral part of our collaborative approach. We've worked really hard in the last 12 months to increase engagement and grow their geographic spread in order to ensure they meet the needs of a global industry. As you can see from the slide, we now have an industry forum in Europe, one in Africa, and others in the Middle East, Asia Pacific, of course, and the Americas. They all have a voice and an important part to play, as the data and intelligence we get through this platform is essential for feeding into targeted industry work groups to ensure we are producing the global standards that employers want and employees need, both now and for many years to come. More than providing an understanding of the international needs of the industry, the forums are also cross-sector groups. They have full representation from across the employer and training provider spectrum, including national and international operators, drilling companies, and contractors. And this, I think, is where their true value lies. It's only through this pan-industry approach that we can design and approve the right systems to prove and maintain the competence of the workforce. Now, I mentioned at the start of my presentation today that today sees the launch of a new set of OPITO standards. These have been developed and reviewed using the same robust processes our global employer reach, and as well as being a significant step for our industry in terms of ensuring we are fit for the future. They are an excellent example of the industry forums in action. We have historically been predominantly focused on the offshore sector. However, as the industry undergoes a significant period of change and diversification too, so too does the focus and nature of what we do. A large number of companies work across or are becoming increasingly involved in both the offshore and onshore sectors, and they have the same requirements when it comes to the need for consistent knowledge and safety training with world-class credibility and compliance. There's an excellent example of this right here in Malaysia with our official event partner Petronas and its major refinery and petrochemical integrated development, or RAPID complex at Pengerang, which is, I believe, scheduled for start-up in the first quarter of 2019 and will create several thousand jobs in the process and upon completion. So, the onshore petroleum processing and refining facility standards are our response to a very clear message from you, the industry, that you want to have the benefits you gain from our offshore framework applied to your onshore activities. Critical to the market and sought by a number of major employers, the framework acknowledges the overlaps, but also the significant differences between the sectors, and we have contextualized and designed these new set of standards specifically to meet the changing market. They provide a robust emergency response framework building on our 30 years plus of offshore experience and our proven track record and capabilities. So, as you would expect, underpinning these standards are basic onshore safety and IMIST, as well as H2S training standard. All personnel will be training to these standards to form a baseline of safety competence, as in the offshore sector. The standards encompass a number of key specialist roles. For those involved in managing the emergency, we've created new standards for those carrying out plant manager, incident commander, and control room operator roles. If you're part of the team that coordinates the response to the emergency, you'll welcome the new standards for onshore fire emergency response team leader and lead fire warden. And finally, for those responding to instructions to control the emergency, we've developed standards which relate to the roles of fire emergency response team members and fire warden. So together, they provide the answer to the ask that you had for us. They will allow plant employers to implement an emergency response framework which is fit for purpose for the onshore community and do it with confidence, knowing they have been developed following the same rigorous process we use in the offshore sector. This is a framework which is interrelated and emphasizes connectivity. The draft standards have been shared with operators, service and training providers, as well as discipline experts to validate their content and make sure they meet the job they are meant to do. The onshore petroleum processing and refining facility standards are available on the OPITO website right now. They went live this morning. But what I hope I have illustrated in sharing the background and creation of these new standards with you today is the synergy that results when our combined efforts give greater outputs than by working separately. You know, we've heard this morning, this is a never-changing industry, and we can never rest in our laurels when it comes to ensuring workforce development, training, and ultimately safety. As the International Oil and Gas Workforce Development Body, OPITO's job is to provide the right products and services to meet the needs of industry and ensure that you are fit for the future. And those forums really are at the heart of how we do this. The work we do together isn't just to the benefit of business. It's for individuals, it's for companies, it's for governments and society at large. And we, as OPITO, will keep listening and learning and delivering the solutions the industry needs. But we can only continue doing that with your support. There are a number of ways to get involved in helping us to look at new standards, as well as reviewing and developing existing ones to ensure they continue to meet industry needs. Without your input, as David said earlier, we can't do our job. So I'd invite you to contact your regional reps to find out more about how you can play a part. So thank you very much for listening. Now let me hand over to my colleague Graham Gall, who's going to speak to us about digital standard integration. Thank you very much.